Vice President Mike Pence filed for President Trump for the 2020 New Hampshire primary Thursday. After filing, Mr. Pence spoke with reporters where he denied any wrongdoing by President Trump in his phone call with Ukraine's president.
What's going on in Washington, D.C. today is a disgrace. Behind closed doors, there's a so-called impeachment inquiry that I think the American people know is nothing more than a partisan impeachment. It's the latest effort by Democrats to try and overturn the results of the 2016 election. And I think the American people see through it. And for people that have questions, again, they can look at the transcript.
Let's bring in CBS News campaign reporter Nicole Sganga. She's in Concord, New Hampshire. All right, Nicole, you had a front row seat there. What was it like in New Hampshire today when Vice President Pence filed for President Trump?
Well, Elaine, picture a mosh pit inside the Secretary of State's office, and that's pretty close to what we saw today.
Yeah.
Lots of press gathered to see the vice president file and add President Donald Trump's name to the New Hampshire primary ballot. But as is tradition in New Hampshire, the vice president handed over a declaration of candidacy to Secretary of State Bill Gardner and a $1,000 bank check to the Secretary of State. Then he was shuffled into a room with local New Hampshire reporters who did quiz him on the president's call with President Zelensky, as you just heard. They also asked him if he would campaign for former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The vice president did not respond to that question, said only that the people of Alabama will decide that contest. The vice president was accompanied by Governor Sununu, Chris Sununu, the Republican governor here in New Hampshire, to the State House, and he filed with Corey Lewandowski right next to him, President Trump's 2016 campaign manager.
Interesting. Well, President Trump lost to Hillary Clinton in New Hampshire in 2016. What is his campaign doing now to try to make sure that doesn't happen in 2020?
Absolutely. So President Trump's campaign does have boots on the ground here in New Hampshire. Folks that I speak to on his team, both in New Hampshire, in Maine, and back in Washington, D.C., tell me they feel this impeachment inquiry is a quote-unquote poison pill for Democrats, that it will rile up their base and get people to turn out in unprecedented numbers. Of course, we know in 2016, President Donald Trump lost by just 2,700 votes here in the Granite State. But still, if we look at some of the past elections that have happened since then, back in 2018 in New Hampshire, both the State House and the State Senate turned from Republican to Democrat. They saw a bit of a blue wave here. Just this week in the elections that we saw in municipalities across the state, over 2/3 of the contests where Democrats competed in, they in fact won. In fact, in Laconia, a city that Donald Trump won by 13 points, the Democratic candidate there for mayor won by almost 10 points. So certainly still an uphill battle for Republicans here.
Well, one of President Trump's Republican challengers is former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld. He's holding an event on Friday in Boston on his support for the impeachment of President Trump. When can we expect the president's Republican opponents to file in New Hampshire?
Well, none of them have filed just yet, Elaine, but we do anticipate a number of them will file next week. They have to file by November 15th. That is when the window closes. And we've seen a little bit of a struggle to gain traction here in New Hampshire. A recent CNN poll put President Donald Trump at 86% support from likely Republican voters, whereas Bill Weld just got 5%. They've also struggled to fundraise. Bill Weld raising tens of thousands of dollars, but that pales in comparison to the over $150 million that President Donald Trump and the RNC fundraised, a combined total just last quarter.
Well, former Ohio Governor John Kasich also spoke in New Hampshire today. Why is he there?
Well, former Ohio Governor John Kasich is here to tout his new book and to talk about civic discourse. He was, of course, asked the inevitable question of why are you in New Hampshire during the filing period? Is there any announcement you'd like to make?
Right?
awfully coincidental. He told reporters today, I don't intend to file for president. I don't see a path to win. That said, he said that he could stumble across a path sometime soon, or perhaps there will never be one. So leaving the door open for a possible bid in 2024, Elaine.
Okay, Nicole Sganga for us in New Hampshire. Nicole, thank you very much.